Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast. We're joined here again with our friend, Miss Jumorrow Terra Poitier. She's joining us here this evening to talk about the sealing and expungement workshop that's coming up here this week, this Thursday, February 27th. So, Jumorrow Terra Poitier, welcome back to the Adams Brothers Podcast.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. I had to be here tonight. Just wanted to, share, just to make sure that we, let the community know that this is happening, and just give everybody, the opportunity to show up if they feel that this is something that's going to benefit them. So I really appreciate you guys opening up your platform to share this information, because it is so needed, especially in our communities.
You already know you're welcome to come on this podcast anytime when you're sharing information about human trafficking and sealing and expungement or whatever else you working on. You already know you're welcome to come on here anytime. All you got our numbers. All you got to do is hit us up and we'll get you on here without a problem. So the people that don't know you, go ahead and tell them a little bit about you before we get into the sealing and expungement workshop.
Okay, so thank you again to the Adams Brothers and for having me on their podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm Jumorrow Poitier. I am the current director of community outreach and the anti-human trafficking coordinator for the Broward County State Attorney's Office for the 17th Judicial Circuit. And so I'm here tonight to talk about our quarterly workshop that we have, which is created through the Broward State Attorney's Office. I'm very honored to be one of the primary coordinators for this workshop. And the workshops were created, I believe, back in 2015 by the former state attorney for Broward County. And that's how long that these workshops have been taking place in communities throughout Broward County. They are extremely important to the community and to the citizens of the community. And they offer an opportunity for those in the community who have had prior criminal charges, who have been arrested for things that our office being the state attorney's office, chose not to move forward with filing charges, or we decided to dismiss the charges. So this workshop gives community, our community members, our community citizens, an opportunity to really have these things either permanently removed or sealed on their criminal record. So that's really just how important that is. And we know that, criminal background checks will prevent people from actually being able to rent apartments, get loans, get federal loans. It will prevent you from obtaining certain jobs. It prevents you from getting certain licensing and certifications. It prevents you from being able to obtain a lot of things. So even if you're not convicted, even if you just have these charges, right? So we just want to make sure that we're giving people an opportunity to right the wrongs that they've made. So that's why I'm here, to answer any questions, just to talk a little bit about how the process works. And so I hope tonight that you all will leave here knowing more. And I hope that you would show up. So the workshop is going to be this Thursday. It's actually this week. This Thursday, February 27th. And we're going to be in North Lauderdale. So we service the entire county. And so every quarter, my colleague and I, Daniel, what we do is we make sure that we are selecting venues throughout different parts of the county, because Harold Pryor is not just the state attorney for certain cities in the county of Broward. He's the state attorney for the entire county of Broward. So we try to make sure, we work very hard and very diligent to make sure that we are conducting these workshops and coordinating these workshops in different communities and different cities throughout the county. And so again, this Thursday, February 27th. We start promptly at 3 p.m. Doors open at 3. And we serve until 7. Now, people start lining up. They start lining up at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, because it's walk-ins. It's walk-ins are welcome. You can, if you choose, you can pre-register by going to the state attorney's office website and completing a form for sealing expungement. But that's not necessary. We accept all walk-ins. The only thing that we ask you to bring is a valid ID. An ID, a driver's license, something that can identify you. That's all we're asking for you to bring. This workshop is free. Normally when you're trying to get a record sealed or expunged, you have attorneys that are charging anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 to help with the process. We are doing this for free. We are providing you with the application. We're providing you with BSO is one of our partners, and they're doing the fingerprints. We have notaries on site. We have defense attorneys on site to provide advice on when it comes to if you have multiple charges and that qualify, giving you that advice as to which would be more beneficial to you, because those are conversations that you need to be talking to defense attorneys about, or a public defender, not, the state attorney. So we try to make sure, we work very hard to make sure that every need is being met at this workshop. When you leave this workshop, you're going to leave this workshop with all of your paperwork completed, signed, notarized, with your fingerprints. We even give you the envelope that you need to mail it into FDLE. We provide all of that to you, right? Free of charge. FDLE does require a $75 processing fee for your application, but that has nothing to do with us. That is your responsibility when you're putting your, when you're putting your application in the mail to send it off to FDLE. It is your responsibility to put in your $75 application fee. However, we have gone as far as partnering with a law firm, a private law firm called, and they are Green Spoon Martyr. Green Spoon Martyr is a law firm that we have partnered with State Attorney's Office, and they are covering the $75 fee for some of the participants. We do a raffle.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
At the workshop. We do a raffle at the workshop, and if they pull your number, they're not just covering your $75 processing fee. They're covering your $42 clerk of court filing fee, which is something that you have to do, which is part of the process. And not only that, if there's a problem with your application, if FDLE flags something, they are providing you with an attorney pro bono to help you walk that out, right? So again, we are working diligently to make sure that this workshop is effective and that it is beneficial to the community. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I added that up. That's about a savings. If that's about a savings of $117.
Yes.
For the $75 and the $42, man, that's a nice savings.
Yeah. Especially to get your freedom back. I mean, to pretty much to get your almost a name back, so you can be employed somewhere.
And listen, $75 is a lot of money. $42 is a lot of money, especially for somebody that is on a fixed income and doesn't have it, right?
Right.
And so again, it's such a benefit. And it's a win-win situation, right? If you come to the workshop and for whatever reason you don't qualify, and the only reason that you would not qualify for this workshop is if you have been convicted of a crime, or if you have recently had something sealed. Because if you've had a charge that has qualified to be sealed, you have to wait 10 years in order for that charge to be eligible to be expunged. So if you have had something sealed and it has not been, that 10-year mark hasn't passed, you're not going to qualify for the workshop. And if you've already had something expunged, because the thing about sealing and expungement, you get one shot, one bite at the apple, one time, that's it, right? So it's not something that you can do multiple times. You get one shot. Unfortunately, that is the rule of FDLE. That is a legislative issue. That is not something that the state attorney's office has any control over whatsoever. We don't make the rules. Only thing we're doing is providing an opportunity for people to be able to participate in the process. But the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE, they make the rules as to how this thing is going to go as far as approval or denial. That is not something that the state attorney's office decides.
Yeah, because we had actually it was a relative had said that they were like, well, it's not totally free. We like, it is free. They like, well, I had to pay $75. And I'm like, well, it can't be related to, it just got to be some fee at the state. So
right.
That's what you said. I was correct. What I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Florida Department of Law Enforcement fee. There's no way around that. There's no way around the clerk of court fee once it's time for you to file your certificate. But the workshop itself is absolutely free. And what we're doing is we're preventing, because if you want to do it yourself, okay, you can do it yourself, but you're going to have to hit you're going to have to hit the state attorney's office. You got to hit the clerk of court. You got to get your prints done. You got to get a notary. We are putting all of those things in one place for you, right? And if you're not doing it yourself and you say, well, I need to get an attorney to pay this, do this for me, they're charging and I know this because I've had people say to me, you know, attorneys are charging them, they want $1,500, they want $2,000, they want $2,500 to do the process for them. And all you're doing is you're filling out the petition. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we have the clerk of court on site to pull the records. So when you go to the clerk of court and get some paperwork, you got to pay for that, right? We have all of that on site, free of charge. You don't pay for your prints. You don't pay for the notary. You don't pay for your information from the clerk of court. We have all of that there available for that person. But yes, you are responsible for your fee to the state. We do not cover that. And that's not something that we have control over. And so you've heard me say FDLE fee. You've heard me talk about the clerk of court fee. So if you gentlemen would just give me a minute to just kind of
take your time.
walk through the process.
Go ahead.
Yes, we want you to do that.
Take your time.
So once you leave the workshop with your documents, if you qualify. So once you come to the workshop, we're going to run your name by way of your ID, your driver's license. Our office, the state attorney's office, is going to do that. Once we determine that you qualify, you're going to start the process, right? Now, you finish the process. And when I say finish the process, you're finishing the process for the day of that workshop. You leave with your documents. You're putting your documents in the mail. You're sending your stuff off to FDLE. Or if you happen to win the lottery with Green Spoon Martyr, they take care of everything for you. They put everything in the mail. They do everything for you, right? So your information goes to FDLE. Now, FDLE takes a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks. 8 to 12 weeks to process your application for either seal or expunge, right? Once FDLE processes your information, your application, and if they feel that, okay, everything is the way it's supposed to be, there's no red flags, it's good to go, it's approved, FDLE is going to send you what we call a certificate of eligibility. A certificate of eligibility. Once you get that certificate of eligibility, okay, now that's part one, that's step one, that's part one. Then you proceed to step two. Then what you're going to do is you're going to submit your petition to the clerk of the court along with your certificate of eligibility. You have to file that with the clerk of the court. That's a filing fee. We have nothing to do with that, right?
Mhm.
Once you file that paperwork with the clerk of court, they're going to send that information. One, it's going to go to our office, because it has to go to our office, because, you know, we have to see that, okay, FDLE says it's good to go. If our office, of course, our office is not going to object, then the paperwork goes to the judge to sign, right? Now, once the judge signs off on everything, right, then there's an order saying the record is either sealed or expunged, right? Then you'll get notification of that. And the notification is going to tell you that the state attorney didn't object, everything is good. And then what happens is they're going to tell you that they've sent the order to the clerk of the court to either seal or expunge the information. That they're going to tell you that they send a copy of the order to the law enforcement agency that arrested you, telling you that their records department either needs to seal or expunge the information, and then you're going to keep a copy for yourself, letting you know that it's all been done. That process, it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 4 months, sometimes 5, for you to finally be done with the process. So don't think the day of the workshop, that's just the beginning. That's point A, right? That's just point A.
Mm-hmm.
The workshop, after that, after the workshop, it takes anywhere from 3 or 4 months, sometimes 5, for you to be completely done with the process.
Okay. And I
I'm
heard,
glad to hear that.
yes,
A lot of people, you just explained everything, every process, because people always come up like, well, it's not really free. Yeah, you
It is free.
can't
Our
pass those
workshop is
fees
free.
now.
Our workshop is absolutely 100% free.
Right.
right.
We do not charge anything for our workshop.
Right.
FDLE has fees. Clerk of court has fees. We have nothing
Right.
to do with that.
And when they
That's right.
submit the petition to the court, do you know how much that fee is?
So that's the $42 fee.
40, yeah.
Okay, that's a $42 fee that you spoke of earlier.
Plus the 42.
Okay, yeah. So it's a 75 plus the 42, which is $117.
But
Okay.
more, if they, like I said, if they attend the
lottery.
workshop, they win the lottery, they don't pay they don't even pay for that.
Right.
They don't even pay for that. Because
And how many winners? Is it just one? Is it just one? I'm sorry. Is it just one winner in the lottery or a few?
Oh, no. They're raffling the entire time.
Okay.
They're raffling, because every person that we give them when you get 2 tickets when you come, you get 1 ticket to help us, keep you and follow you in line. And then you get a raffle ticket for the law firm. And so throughout the entire process, they're calling out numbers. Yeah, throughout the entire process.
I have a question that I've been asked this question before. Like, some people I've heard say that even if you have it sealed or expunged, government agencies can still see it. Is that true?
That is not true for expungement. Okay. That is not true for expungement, because once a record is expunged, it is removed from the system. It is removed. It's taken out of the system. That's why there's a difference between something being expunged and something being sealed, right? Now, if it's sealed, the only way that it's going to be sealed because there was some type of court action that took place. There was like either a plea entered, and so there was a court disposition of a withhold or something like that, right? So those can be sealed, right? If you go to court for a case and you enter a plea and there's a court sanction of a withhold or supervision or some kind, those charges are never going to qualify to be expunged, right? They will only qualify to be sealed. And some of those charges can still be seen by federal agencies, some government agencies, right? But if the record is expunged, it's expunged. Now, this is the caveat. And a lot of people I was challenged with this I think a few weeks ago. So someone asked me the question and they were like, well, hey, they were like, Jumorrow, the record was expunged. So on the job application, do I still have to say that I was arrested? Right. Well, you were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why you don't want it, just because your charge was expunged, because this is the thing, guys. You can get arrested for anything, right?
Right.
BSO, Fort Lauderdale, Creek, Springs, Wilton Manors, Davie, Miramar, Hollywood. They can arrest you for anything.
Mm-hmm.
However, every arrest has, once that when they submit that to our office, we determine what happens with that charge.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Pryor is the actual chief law enforcement agent of the land. He's the chief law enforcement agent because he determines what happens. Our office determines what happens with those arrests, what happened with those charges, right? So say you get arrested for a burglary.
Mm-hmm.
Burglary is a third-degree felony, right? That probable cause affidavit, that packet comes through our office, goes to our filing attorneys, because we have filing attorneys, and filing attorneys determine if it's going to be filed or not, if there's enough probable cause, if there's a likelihood of conviction, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a third-degree felony, if our office decides that we are not going to file that charge, and we could either no info it, non-file it, it could be no pros, it could be dismissed, right? Our office makes that determination. Even though it's a burglary, it's a felony, because there was a disposition of either non-file, no info, dismiss, or no pros, that charge would qualify to be expunged because there's been no court action.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get arrested for anything, but it is the state attorney's office to say whether or not that charge is going to be filed or not.
Yep.
Well, they always say you might beat the rap, but you won't beat the ride. That's their thing.
Right.
So
you
were
arrested. So you were arrested. And see, another thing, I caution people, be careful, because if the charge is expunged, you can't have access to the charge unless by way of court order. So even if you say, yes, I was arrested, they'll never be able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's gone. But you have to be careful about saying that you've never been arrested, because remember,
right,
there are sites on here. People sell information.
Mm-hmm.
Deerfield is known for going on Jailbase, right? Yep. That's not a government brand sanctioned, people can go on Google. People sell information all the time. So if you've been arrested, it's easy to see if you've been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful with that, because you can cost yourself a job by trying to be slick and being dishonest when you don't need to be. Because if the charge was expunged, if nothing happened, if it was dismissed as no process, it was. But if you were arrested, all you need to do is explain what happened.
Yeah, and the reason I want that question earlier was because I work for the city, and they were like, I hear the supervisors, they'll come in sometimes and we'll say, when you gonna hire somebody? Well, we had a good candidate, but he had something going on with his record. He had it sealed or something, but we couldn't see it. But he wouldn't really tell us what was going on, so we didn't hire him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked that question earlier.
Yeah.
They'll probably ask you what happened, and then it's up to them if they still want to hire you or not.
Right.
They could say, well, if you didn't tell us, so we're not going to hire you.
Yeah, we saw that one time, Ms. Poitier, one time in Deerfield about 20 years ago, and we had an employee there, and he came there, and he had worked at other cities before, but he had apparently gotten in some trouble before, and he wouldn't tell the city of Deerfield. They tried to get him to open it up, and he would not do it. And
they can't force him to do it.
And they fired him, and he went and got an attorney. He was back there about a week later. because they tried to force him and they fired him. And I guess they thought about it and said, you know what, we better bring him back here. And they did. And yeah,
because those charges are sealed and expunged by way of court order.
Mm-hmm.
Because the judge has to sign. Once FDLE gives the green light and it starts that process, the judge signs that order, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I may have missed it. I know what charges can't be
That's
expunged.
what I was getting ready to ask.
Is it? We already know murder and rape, and murder and rape is definitely not on the list. So if you're a murderer or a rapist, don't even go down there. Don't even waste your time.
But they can actually be adjudicated, right?
Well.
Yeah.
Let me correct you.
Okay.
Let me correct you.
Let me pump the brakes here a little bit then. Come on.
Because you can be charged with murder and go to trial and be found not guilty and file to have that charge expunged.
Okay.
That's right.
You can be charged with murder and it could be dismissed, and you can file to have that charge. You can apply to have that charge expunged, not sealed, expunged.
Expunged. Okay.
Yeah. Now, but I'm glad you asked that question, Daryl, because there is a list of disqualifying offenses that FDLE has issued. And I don't know, I'm in my car, I don't know all of them. But there is a list of charges. They are called disqualifying offenses, right? And these charges, they're disqualified offenses if there has been some form of conviction and or withhold on these charges, right? So you're talking about, trafficking dope, human trafficking, rape, kidnapping, murder, carjacking, domestic violence, whether misdemeanor or felony. And now let me tell you something. This is a kicker here.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is charged with a misdemeanor domestic violence offense, misdemeanor, and they go to court and enter a plea and receive a court sanction, if they're not even convicted, it's a withhold.
Mm-hmm.
That's a disqualifying offense. Another thing that's really, really affecting the Black community, Black men specifically. Driving while your license is getting a conviction and adjudication, driving while your license is suspended. That's a traffic, even though it's a traffic infraction, it's a traffic criminal criminal offense. And if you receive a conviction, an adjudication is equivalent to a conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Adjudication and conviction, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a conviction on that driving while your license is suspended, and you have, say, a charge that qualifies to be expunged, you'll never be able to get it expunged because you have that conviction. And what happens is, what I've been seeing is that we've had Black men come into court for felony offenses, things they've been arrested for, that were either non-filed, no info, no pros, dismissed for whatever reason. And these felonies qualify for expungement. But because in traffic court, they went in traffic court, and got an adjudication on driving with license suspended, they'll never be able to get those charges expunged from their record.
Great information. Great information. I'm glad you said that, because I remember when we went to court when for my sister's murder case in 2016, and the guy, he asked the Judge Alona Holmes, he asked her to withhold adjudication for his murder charges. She quickly denied it, but I was always wondering that if she had not denied it, could he have still gotten his record expunged? So
Not
you
for murder.
answered that. Okay.
Not for murder, because it's a disqualifying offense, right?
Right.
So you have some offenses, like I said, that are disqualifiers, and what would
Right.
disqualify them is the nature of the offense and the fact that they either had a adjudication or a adjudication withheld.
Right.
But the offense alone,
Right.
like, so for a murder, right? For a murder, even though that person didn't receive a conviction, that offense alone is a disqualifier, even if they received a withhold of adjudication. Now, if the charge was dismissed or if they were found not guilty or whatever, it would qualify to be expunged.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's good information. Yeah, because you know, we hear all of these things from people that, you know, from friends,
the street lawyers,
and they say all of these things, and you really don't know, you know, because they'll sit there and they'll swear to you, I know, I've been down there, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah,
so
you cleared up a lot.
I don't know everything. That's why I'm here, because I learned so much from you, because you see this stuff and you work with it every day. So this is good. What was that?
Marcia Derrico asked the question.
Marcia Derrico, do you have to said that do you have to have disclosure if you've had a record seal or expunged on an employment application?
So understand, you normally there's two questions or one questions at like that they will put on there in reference to your criminal record. Some will ask if you've ever been arrested. Some will ask if you've ever been convicted. Those are two separate questions.
Okay.
Now, if you've been arrested, you gotta say that you've been arrested.
Right.
But if you've never been convicted, of course you've never been convicted. Now, if your record has been sealed or expunged, right? It's sealed or expunged, there's a court order, and you don't have to disclose.
Yeah. And I seen that trip people up for contracts.
Yeah.
They wasn't able to get contracts because with the county and all of that, because they you know, and I don't think they were trying to be smart, but they got caught up. They should have probably asked someone. You know.
And I know people that have their record has been expunged, their record has been sealed, but when asked if they had been arrested, they lied and said no. Right. And they got the job, but then the employer found out that they had been arrested. So the employer's reason for terminating them was because they were dishonest about they lied on their application, which is grounds for termination anywhere.
Yes, it is. Yep.
That's ground for termination anywhere, lying on your job application, right? Yeah. So they'll say, oh, if they would have just said that, we wouldn't have, we would have hired him anyway. Probably not. They probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, they wouldn't have hired you.
But the fact that they said, okay, well, now we have grounds to terminate because they lied on their job application, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, normally now when I'm seeing, a lot of job applications and conversations that I'm having with some people, they're asking you the question, and if you put yes, they're giving you space to put like a little, like a explanation.
Yep.
And because I had a conversation with someone recently, and they they put yes, they were arrested. I was arrested for, but whatever. However, the charge was not filed by the state attorney's office and expunged on that date, on this date, and that was it.
Okay. Because that's some people feel if I tell them the truth, they're not going to hire me, and if I lie,
your chance is better telling the truth, though.
Right.
Because what happens is if you lie and you say you haven't been arrested, that's not somebody that you can ever use as a reference.
Yeah.
Marsha S. Clark Derrico said it's tricky. I try to educate my students on this subject. Thank you.
It is. I seen some questions like that the city had with the city's policy, city of Deerfield policy, and the question is, I mean, it is very, very tricky. It could even trick the person who's very educated up just how it's worded. And if you don't know, just go and ask someone. Yeah.
We also had another question from Mitchell Smith. Mitchell Smith said, if your first offense handed you an adjudication of guilt for a grand theft charge, can this be challenged even if it was over 30 plus years ago?
So that is what they call like a like clemency or whatever, but you would have to qualify for that. Right? So when you're talking about that, like, because you would have to file a motion to it, the only way he could challenge it, he would have to file a motion to withdraw his plea because he pled to it. Or did he go to trial? Because if he went to trial and was found guilty, he can't challenge it because you only have 30 days to appeal after being, after trial, after being found guilty. So if it's over 30 years ago, that's it. If he didn't appeal it within that time frame, that's it, right?
And that answered the question right there.
But if he entered a plea, if he wants to try to file a motion to withdraw his plea, there has to be grounds for that. Like, what are you trying to say? Did you have ineffective counsel? I mean, it's been over 30 years, right? So the challenge is going to be why after 30 years? Right? Were you under duress? Was there ineffective of counsel? And these are things that have to be proven.
Yeah, 30 years. That's a long time. And like you said, you have 30 days to appeal. And usually in court, the judge will say, you have 30 days to appeal this. If you don't agree with this, you have 30 days. So like you said, if you didn't appeal it within that 30-year window, then
within that 30-day window, that's
30-day window.
Yeah. If you miss that 30-day window to appeal, especially on findings of guilt.
And we had an earlier question asked, and I think I know the answer to it, where the person said Antoine Barnes said they were arrested. Can you go back up to that, Daryl?
Yeah, but it was in another county. I answered the question on there. He said, so if you live in another county that was doing them events, are they able to expunge your record from another county? I told him no.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. No.
Yeah. It has to be
from that county,
from that particular county. If you were arrested in Alachua County or Orange County or Palm Beach County or Dade County, wherever you were arrested at, you have to go back to that county, that particular county, wherever it was in the state. You have to go back to that county. You can't come to Broward and say, well, I got arrested in Duval 10 years ago, or whatever. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You have to go back to Duval
Find
County.
out when they have if they have an expungement program.
We don't have access to any records other than what happened within the jurisdiction of Broward County.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there any other information that you would like to share with the viewers out there, Ms. Poitier?
Just that, again, the workshop is this Thursday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We start promptly at 3. We accept people up until 7 o'clock. But, if you're in line by 7, we're going to serve you. We do not turn you away just because it's 7 o'clock. If you're in line and you got in by 7, we're going to serve you. And we don't leave until we serve the last citizen. Sometimes we're out of there 8:30, 8:45, but we don't leave until we serve the last citizen. Again, it's walk-ins. All you need to bring is your ID. We have the clerk's office there to be able to pull all your stuff up. We have BSO there to do your prints. We have notaries there to notarize everything. We have the state attorney's office there to sign off on everything. We also have juveniles. Like we have a section for juvenile expungement as well. For their records. And
hold on a minute, Miss Poitier. So do you have one? I thought I was always under the impression their juvenile records are clear. So you have. See,
that's not true.
Can Can you explain that there too, Coach? Gosh, you hear so many things.
Yeah, so just like the same processes we have for adults, we have for juveniles, the same process. The same process we have, people have this myth that it falls off.
Yeah,
Fall off.
I was always told that.
Nothing falls out of a computer. You have to take it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you hear so many stories. Exactly. I know you've heard them too,
That's
so
why that caught me off guard. Yeah. I mean, I had never heard. I'm glad that you did mention that. And
we have a section set up. We have a section set up for our juveniles. We have them in a separate room, but we service juveniles on the same day.
Okay. When do you do you say the same day
same
as
day.
Okay, the same day.
Yeah, they have a section.
Same time.
So everyone hear that?
We just have them in a separate room. We have
everyone hear that?
A state attorney in there for them. We have legal aid, a legal aid attorney available for them and their parent for any questions and concerns that they may have. Yeah.
Because one of the Marsha S. Clark Derrico, MED, said only certain entities have access to juvenile records. It does not disappear. Yeah. I did not know that, honestly. I was always told that's why they was committing so many crimes when they're young, because the record is like sealed. You just schooled me. I mean, I did not know that. That's great information to know.
And again, let's say if a person was arrested within the last year, let's say a juvenile, will they be able to come down there and do that? I think you answered that earlier.
Charges have to be disposed.
Yeah.
They have to be closed.
Right.
They have to have some type of disposition. It has to be closed. So it has to have a disposition of either a withhold or no pros, dismiss, non-file, not guilty.
Okay.
Non-file, no info, no pros, not guilty, withhold. Probation, whatever. There has to be a form of disposition. You cannot seal or expunge pending charges.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And I wanted to mention something else too. I want to jump to something else. Last Tuesday, you were given a certificate of recognition for your human trafficking work through the city of Deerfield. I'd like for you to tell us about that. Tell our viewers about that too.
Well, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. It was really an honor for me, and the reason that I was really honored is because it came from my city. I'm born, raised Deerfield Beach. Deerfield Beach through and through. You know what I'm saying? Blood and bone, and to be recognized by my community was an amazing thing. The recognition was brought forth by Vice Mayor Todd Drosky. Really appreciate him for that. And I'm just glad to see that people are understanding that this is a problem. I'm glad to see, because it's not about me in all actuality. And I know people are, it's not about me. It's really not about me. It's about the work, and it's about serving the community, and it's about keeping our kids, keeping our community safe. That's what it's about. And it's about the powers that be caring about what happens in our community, not just one part of the community, but the entire community. Because if you don't care about one part and you just let it run amok, eventually it's going to trickle over and run over to your area.
That's right.
Right? So it's better to put the fire out before it spreads.
That's right.
Right? Because once the fire spreads, once the fire gets out of control, then what are you going to do? So I just really appreciate the city of Deerfield. I appreciate Vice Mayor Drosky for recognizing the work that I do and finding it necessary to bring that before the commission and to bring that before the public and just recognize me in that way. I was truly honored. I really was. I was truly
Hopefully
honored.
you can bring that event there every year. I would love to see that done.
It was good. I really enjoyed
exactly.
attending that.
I would love to see it every year.
And
because
listen, I just got a text. I got a text from Kristen, Sophie Reader's aunt. I got a text from her tonight. You know, because we keep in touch, and her brother, Sophie's dad, she texted me and said he got permission. He's going to be speaking before the Fort Lauderdale Commission. Great. And she wanted to, you know, so she reached out to me. So I'm very glad, because, you know, that was one of the suggestions that we made to them.
Yep. Right. Yeah, because I asked her, has she reached out to the, you know, the elected officials and the city manager and the elected officials, because they control their own police department there. So
so they did that. They followed up with that suggestion that we made for them. And I think that was you who
I had asked that question. And then one of the other guys in the back, Dan Hertz, had also stood up and asked that. He followed up too on that question, but it was, I'm like, you know, because she was getting all these roadblocks through the detectives, and no, you gotta go to that.
And that happens all the time too.
Yeah,
all the time.
And you know, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna advocate for you right now. I would hope the city of Deerfield Beach honor you next year for their Black. You know, they just had it Saturday night where they honored one of your church members, Michael.
Mike Chittery. I couldn't go. I was so bummed. I couldn't go. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, it was nice.
He's just such a great guy. He's just amazing. So well deserved honor. So proud of him. I was really bummed I couldn't go, but
we'll be nominating your name next year. We'll
be, hopefully you can get awarded, because you definitely do the work here, and we got to get more people on the ground doing the work to get, you know, recognized. More people. It's a lot of people doing the work on the ground like you, and you need to be recognized.
Just not getting that recognition, and you deserve every bit of recognition that you're getting for the outstanding job that you're doing here in this community, in this county, the Tri-County area, because you're everywhere.
Exactly, you're everywhere,
and you got a good director, state attorney down there. That's you know, Mr. Harold Pryor. And I think he's doing an outstanding job. Don't care what nobody else has to think about him, but
he's doing
doing an outstanding job, and
he's a friend of our podcast.
Yes, he's welcome on here anytime. He knows that, and you as well. I should say, you welcome on here anytime you get information. You already know. You know, you like our expert analysts, how they do the political analyst and the police analyst call in, or whatever they call that. Well, you're there for us, so
you and a few other people.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep you guys updated on it's next Monday. She said that he was confirmed to speak in front of the city commission next Monday. They're going forth. Their main ask is they want a new detective on Sophie's case. And so I'll keep you guys posted on you know,
absolutely,
what happened with that. But I'm just so glad that she listened to you, and they followed up, and so that's going to be interesting. So I'm definitely, I'm going.
I'm gonna see if I can. I know they should watch it. I know they should, like every city, have it televised. I'm gonna see if I can go and look that up, because I want to be able to watch that. I want to see the ending. I want to see the ending. I want to see some type of ending, good or bad. I hopefully it'll be good, but to Miss Rita, because we got her information, so we're gonna, you know, let her do everything, and then we're gonna reach back out to her, because she promised us she would come on.
Absolutely. And you know, she's not afraid to say what she needs to say.
She speaks her mind.
Like I told her the thing. I said, see, you can say that. You can say that. So I really, my heart goes out to that family, and I just really hope that they are able to get closure.
Me too.
For their loved one. I mean, 15-year-olds just don't disappear in the thin air like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, they don't.
No.
Something happened to their child, and they deserve to know what happened to her.
Yes, it did. Yes.
We
I pray she get closure too. But we appreciate you coming on with. We want to get you out the dark out there, and
we don't want like you sitting out there in the dark like that there, you know.
And we appreciate everyone that participated in the chat here, Miss Derrico. We appreciate your input. Everyone else that was in the chat, we appreciate y'all, and y'all continue to watch the
y'all
Adams
spread
Brothers
the
podcast.
word. Spread the word. You got people walking around with charges on their record, and they qualify to be sealed or expunged, and it's preventing them from doing so many things and moving forward. So please spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, and get your folks out here, get your family, your friends, your loved ones, get them out here. And if they're not sure, have them come anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have them come anyway if they're not sure, and we'll direct them on what they need to do and what their options are.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So that's going to be the sealing and expungement workshop.
It's Thursday.
This Thursday, February the 27th, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Doors close at 7. If you're in line before 7, they will still take you. That's going to be at the Riverside Church, 957 Rock Island Road, North Lauderdale, Florida. They're going to have BSO on hand. There's a Broward State Attorney's Office and
Clerk of Court, Broward County
the Clerk of Court.
The juvenile section
the
for
juvenile section for juveniles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Juveniles can also get their records expunged. So
in a different room.
Please, folks, utilize the tools that Miss Poitier has and the information she gave us tonight.
That's right. That's right. Jumorrow, Terra, Poitier, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Get
Good
home
night,
safe.
y'all.
Make sure you get home safe and get
right.
out of that dark out there. We don't want to keep you out there too long. Thank you for joining us, and
I appreciate y'all.
We'll be right back with a short pop-up podcast.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.